With regards to this infotainment system, I must admit it's perhaps not my favorite in the market today, but it is what you are going to be getting from BMW. Choose one. Hey everyone, welcome back to Sgcarmart. The BMW 3 Series. The name really speaks for itself. With close to 50 years of history and over 7 generations, the 3 Series has become synonymous with the compact executive sedan segment. The G20 model, the 7th generation model, was launched in 2018, and now we have a mid-cycle refresh that brings with it a slew of changes, so let's take a closer look.
The BMW 3 Series 31i M Sport is priced at $318,000. The 2-litre engine produces 154 brake horsepower and 250 Nm of torque. The 8-speed transmission brings the car from 0 to 100 km/h in 8.4 seconds. The 318i has a claimed fuel consumption of 15.4 km/L. For more details on the BMW 3 Series or any other car, head on to sgcarmart.com to help you make the smart choice on your next car.
Before we start, are you looking for new tyres for your car? Well, look no further than today's sponsor, Sgcarmart eShop. Sgcarmart eShop is the simplest and easiest way to buy your tyres worry-free. Browse from our online catalogue for your car's model or enter the size you're looking for. eShop makes tyre shopping a breeze by providing you with all the options at great prices and a list of curated, reliable installers at your fingertips. With eShop, you'll never have to worry about hidden costs. Simply make payment online and head down to the selected tyre installer with the purchase order and you're done. Changing tyres can be that easy with Sgcarmart eShop. Now back to the review. This car still looks identifiably like a 3 Series, but it has been subtly updated with this mid-cycle refresh. So for example, the grille now slightly redesigned, right? So if you look at the slats here, they are actually double bars now. And if you look at the headlights, they are a little bit slimmer than before and it's a much more streamlined look. So the little king that used to be there is no longer there, and also there are these blue accents on the inside. This is also the M Sport variant, so you of course get the M Sport bumpers. I do think that one big change is that you no longer have that T-shaped little air intake at the sides, and I think this is definitely a design improvement. On this M Sport variant, you are also going to get these M-specific alloys, and one thing to note is that with this M Sport variant, you're going to have a slightly lower and a slightly stiffer suspension setup. The rear is largely unchanged with the exception of these slightly reworked bumpers. And overall, I think it's a slightly more athletic yet elegant design, and I do like how this updated 3 Series looks. Now, if we check out the boot, it is a 480-litre boot, unchanged from before, and that will easily fit the big luggage and it will pass the anti-trailing leg test as well. But key updates are inside the car, so let's jump inside. Now in the rear of the 3 Series, it is a fairly simple space, but I do like it, right? It has a certain snug feeling about it. So headroom is actually quite good, legroom is decent, this is a standard sitting position, and there is some wiggle room for your feet, and considering this is, again, a compact executive sedan, you do expect it to be compact, obviously, but I think it's perfectly comfortable for 2 passengers for sure. Admittedly, the middle passenger, it's going to be a little bit different because this is a rear-wheel drive car, so definitely there's a transmission tunnel and you aren't going to be able to fit your feet up there in any way. But I think even the middle seat is quite comfortable. Can you fit 3 adults comfortably? You could. Should you for long trips? Honestly, I don't think it's that bad. Now, if we talk a little bit about equipment, we do have rear aircon vents, so we have temperature control, and you have sort of directional control, but you don't have specific fan speed control, and you also have 2 USB-C ports. This is just the back, not much different from before. It's in the front that's quite different, so let's go check it out. It is here in the front of the updated 3 Series that the changes are the most obvious, right? So you obviously have this curved display running OS 8, and this is pretty much your modern BMW interior. Now, is this new digital setup a significant improvement? Well, that is a slightly complicated question, right? So no doubt, beyond the visual enhancement of it, I think there is definitely improved functionality. So you have access to things like your intelligent personal assistant, you have navigation that you can show down here on this digital cluster, you can change the displays, all kinds of fancy things. However, I think my gripes with this particular iteration of this operating system still stand. So I think it's a little bit overly complex, there's a bit too many sort of menus and things like adjusting your climate controls. It's just complicated, right? It could have been simpler, but by removing all the buttons available, everything is housed in this screen and you're gonna be doing a lot of pressing and poking around. Other than that, this is a fairly standard modern BMW interior. So you're gonna have this clean redesigned center console with no gear lever. So you have this little tab over here. And I do think it helps free up the overall space here. And your wireless charging, and it's a very sleek interior. I do like it. I like the overall feel of the space. Materials are good. But ultimately, this will take a little bit of adjusting too. Now, about this infotainment system, I will say that it's perhaps not my favorite in the market right now, but it is what you are going to be getting from BMW until at least OS 9 is eventually rolled out. But enough about the cabin, let's go drive this car and see how it feels on the road. In this 318i variant, the engine is unchanged, so you have a 2-litre inline-4 producing 154 brake horsepower and 250 Nm of torque. It's not overly quick, but I think for most day-to-day usage, it's plenty, it's very usable, it's a nice refined drivetrain, and no real complaints about the actual engine itself. Ride quality is also really good in this car. I like how it feels. It's a little bit on the firmer side, which is what you expect from BMW, but it's very well modulated over bumps and it's not crashy. So I remember when I first drove the original G20 model with the M Sport suspension, that was definitely way too hard. So BMW had actually already sort of made it a little bit softer. In this one, it's perfectly fine. It's comfortable. I like how it feels. Of course, with a 3 Series where it always makes its name is in the handling department, and this one does not disappoint. Mechanically, it's unchanged, and that's a good thing, right? So the chassis is nice and taut, it's well controlled, and the steering is accurate, is nice. It's a nice car to drive. It's perhaps not the most sort of feedback you ever get from a steering wheel. One thing I must say is that I still find this M steering wheel a little bit too thick for my liking. I wish it was a little bit thinner, but hey, this is what you're gonna get. With this 3 Series, you obviously are gonna get a whole bunch of safety systems as well. I do want to point out that with the lane departures of steering intervention, it only works above 70 km/h, so that's really for highway usage. In some ways, that's a nice thing because you don't sort of get the car intervening at low speeds when you're perhaps having to creep into another lane when you're driving and there's traffic and stuff like that. So that's probably a good thing, right? Overall, the car feels exactly how you want your 3 Series to feel. It feels sporty, it feels agile, but it's also nice and comfortable and perfectly usable on a day-to-day basis. You obviously have your different drive modes, so you have Sport, you have Comfort, and you have Eco Pro, right? So honestly, yes, if you wanted to do a little bit more spirited driving, you could use the Sport mode, but I'm perfectly happy just leaving this car in Comfort and using it every day. So the facelifted BMW 3 Series, is it a will buy, won't buy, or go try? This is a will buy, and I think somewhat unsurprisingly, the 3 Series is still a very compelling compact executive sedan, right? And with this update, do I love everything about it? Do I love this new infotainment setup? Perhaps not, but I think it's definitely one that you can get used to over time. And of course, the 3 Series isn't for everyone, right? The most obvious competitor being the Mercedes-Benz C-Class. And this car isn't quite so flashy, but it's really stuck to what it is, right? It's agile handling, it's dynamic composure, and it's refined drivetrain. And it's a recipe that BMW has been working on for close to 50 years. And almost 50 years on, it still retains that sporty character, and may it always. So yes, that's our review of the facelifted BMW 3 Series. Do let us know what you think about the car in the comment section below. And of course, do remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you will be alerted of all our upcoming videos. And of course, you can also check us out on TikTok at Sgcarmart. So yeah, that's all I have for you. I'll see you soon. Bye! Did I just U-turn at a red arrow?
Couldn't see.
That's pretty much normal for most cars. There again.
Wait lah, wrong lah, salah lah, why is it recording?